up, peeps? KgDrifty's in the building. I'm here to be bringing you guys some more Modern Warfare tips and strategies. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys some spawn point tips on Hardpoint on the Mac Arklov. I'm going to be going through different type of I'm going to be going through different maps on at least different maps that I know that give you guys a little bit of tips on where to go on Arklov, just so you can have better map control, so you can get that nuke. And yeah, I usually get nukes a lot on Arklov. Usually Arklov and stuff. Arklov, Arklov and Groznyj raid is like the biggest ones that I have the most knowledge on map control. But say for example, if you're spawning on this side, which is this side, if you spawn in on this side of the map, usually a lot of the time enemies will come from this way, they'll come from up there, or they'll come from there, or usually there. Usually half of the time when I am playing, when I do start off on this side, right, I usually play right side.
Okay, before we get more in depth with this video, I'm going to be running down on how everything's supposed to go, how you're supposed to do things. But I pretty much made a rundown of the map on how things are supposed to work, or pretty much where the spawn points are at, so no one will get confused. These numbers are already been laid out for us already, but I pretty much made my own index on how everything's supposed to work out. So as you can see with the two X's represent where you spawn at, because you can spawn from next to 5, or you can spawn next to 2. So the other circles, the circles represent where the spawn points usually are at. So as you can see, for example, at hardpoint number 2, where the X is at with the 2 circles, usually when the hardpoint is at 2, people usually spawn where those 2 circles are at. But if you already spawned in where the X is at, if enemies are coming towards you, where you can see the circle is between 4 and 2, that's where the other spawn point usually be. And then sometimes the spawn point will also be in the middle. As you can see, it's in the middle of the 2 buildings. That's close to 2 as well. It usually can go there, or people will usually flank where you can see where the X is at, the orange X is at. People will usually flank from that side. So just always stay aware of that part so you don't get confused out. Now, as you can see with 5, when the hardpoint gets to the 5th hardpoint, which is right, as you can see, that's right next to the spawn where the X is at, those 3 circles are usually where they spawn at. Usually people spawn where the 2 circle is, right next to the X. That's like really where the main spawn usually be at. I just put the other circle there. I put the other circle that's in front of the building next to 4, just because that's where sometimes enemies usually come out at. As you can see, when you get more in depth with the video, when I'm close to that side and I'm close, it's an area where you're at with the X. Well, you see where the X is at, where the little box is at. Usually you'll head glitch that part and knock them down where the circle is at. So that's where you can usually have map control of the spawn right there, where 5 is at. And then if you usually spawn where the X is at on 5, the other circle that's in between 5 and 3, usually enemies will spawn from that side as well, trying to get towards 5. Or for another way, if it's 3, when it gets to hardpoint number 3, usually enemies will come where in between 5 and 3 is at. They'll spawn in from that side and they'll come from that way. So it's pretty self-explanatory. It's not too difficult, but these are usually where a lot of the spawn points are indicated at. I can't necessarily say where they come at in 4, but as you can see, as I have the X on next to 1 and 4, usually people will come from that part of the building when it comes down to 4. But with those 2 circles that's in between, that's like pretty much double teaming 4. Just keep an eye on that, because usually people will come from those points. That's not usually where 9 times out of 10 they'll usually spawn from that way, but that's usually where they'll come from. But this is just a little indicator on how, just to keep you more aware on what to do and how to do it, so you can know what to do when it comes down to it. But yeah, I hope the layout is not too confusing for you guys. I just try my best to make it a lot simple, to make it more, make it more simple as possible for y'all. But yeah, I hope this helped you guys out. But yeah, back to the old video.
I usually play courtyard side. Usually half of the time I usually come around here this way, and then you usually see an enemy either up here, right there, or you'll probably see some in the trench area. So usually I'll try to get some picks off right here if it's possible, and I'll try to come here, open through here, try to get a few kills there if I need to, get a few kills right here, and then after that I'll just go about. But if you wanted to spawn in if you're still spawning on this side and you want to come from this way, usually I'll climb from the top on this side, and I'll try to pick off whoever's here, and then I'll come right here and try to get somebody there, and then I pretty much make my way. Now, when on the second hardpoint, which is over there, right, depending on where the enemy spawn, usually if you're spawning from this side, and they're gonna come from this side, right? They're gonna be spawning. Their spawn points will be over here. Usually it'll be all right here, or right here, or maybe there. But usually it's all in this area, all this side. So when you get those picks off, after you get done, when the map rotates here, the tips that I usually do, or the things that I do, a tip that I can give for you guys, what should be smart. Usually you can come from up here, and then you can usually pick them off right here. Pick them off every time. Reload. You got if you're using your bouncing Betty, you put it here. You'll get some picks right there. Get them all right here. And then usually half of the time I'll probably come up this way as well, and I'll get picks there. Now,
get to the next one.
Like I said, if you're spawning on that side and then they're coming from this way, when the spawn come right here, you can easily have good map control on this side because they're going to spawn. They're still going to spawn from this side, or they're going to also spawn from that way. So usually you can head glitch here, peek, get kills right there, wait for them to come out this way, right? And you can peek this way and kill them that way. And then usually they'll come up the top. But when it's right, when the hard point is coming from this area, they're gonna always spawn in this side of the map. Always, it's gonna always be on that side. If you start from that side, they're gonna always spawn on this side, so you can easily get those picks right here and have that good map control. If things get a little bit too hot. And after you get done picking them off on this side, and the hard point is starting to, when it starts to go down, usually I usually come from out this side. Usually enemies will come from this side, so I'll rotate on this side and try to pick some people off right here if possible, or they'll try to come from there, or they'll try to go that way. So after I pick them off from that side, the next hard point is over this way. So you usually make your way over here. Now this one is a little bit tricky. I don't really know too much about the spawn control on this, but I know usually at the time, if you are spawning all here, they might spawn on this side still, or it might rotate, and then it might flip. The downs might flip, and it might flip them on this side. So usually the time, if it flips them on this side, usually what I'll try to do, if it flips them on the side that you started at, I'll usually try to wrap around right here. I'll usually try to come up here to this top building. Up here at the top, I'll come from this top, come from the bottom. Somebody might come here, pick them off there. You'll go all the way up top, get your bouncy Betty, place it there, close it, and I usually camp right here. I usually come right here and pick them all right here. Because usually, if it does flip and they spawn on this side, they're going to come from this side, and they're also going to come from this side. So usually I'll just pick them off all right here, take them down here, and I'll come here and I'll try to get long shots over here. Now, after when this hardpoint rotates to this side, and if they're not spawning this way, they're going to always spawn right here. You're usually always going to come out from this way, or they're going to come out from this way. Now, another tip that I can have for you guys is when you come up here at the top right here, when you're picking them off right here, you don't want to make it too high. You usually will jump down, and I'll slide over to this box right here, and I'll just head glitch and peek them. And they'll always come out from this side to stay alert and look at the top. Always look at that top and make sure that they're going to come from that way. So, you can pick them off here, and then you can kind of come right here, ease over, pick them off with this head glitch right there, because they're going to spawn from there. And then if they go there, you can kind of duck down, come right here, pick them off right there. But usually they're going to always a guarantee that they're going to come out this way, and they're going to come out from that way. If the spawn point is here, if their spawn point is right here. So always be aware of that. Now, when the spawn is over here, when the hard point do come this way, and it do come right here, sometimes if it rotate, they'll usually spawn from this side as well. So I'll usually come here at the top right here at this spot, and I'll be at the top, and I'll usually pick them off right here if possible. Try to get as much kills right there. If we're too hot, make your way all the way back up at the top again. Come back around all the way here, and you can map control them right here and then right there. And then after that, when the stuff rotate, usually the time they might rotate back on this side. So like I said before, you just come here, get a little map control gain right here, knock them down as much as possible. If you really got good aim, you can hit them here, and then hit them here, and then you also can hit them there, and then they're going to be spawning from there. So you can have a really good control of the map from right here. Sometimes people will flank, so always watch this side as possible, so you can spray them out from that way. Let me kill myself. But it's pretty straightforward with this map. The spawn points ain't too difficult in this, but if you do find yourself spawning, I don't really know what you will call this side. I guess we'll call it the hostile side. But if you spawn on the other side, right? If you spawn in on this side, usually they're going to come from this way. So usually when they come here, they'll usually be in that window there, or they'll come right there, or they'll probably come from there. So if we do spawn on that side, like I said, I usually go from the trench area. I usually will come from that trench area side, and then I'll try to pick them down as much as possible over there, and then I'll try to wrap myself around and try to get them here. But usually, a good spawn control when if they spawn in on hostile side, you can just come here, and like I said, you can just head peek right here, and just knock them down there, and then there, and they come from the bottom, hit them there, and they want to come from there, try to get as much as possible, try to peek your way a little bit, get in, move away, go in, get them right there, and you can have a good control proportion of this side if they spawn in on the hostile side. Now, when they do spawn in from the hostile side, and then the hardpoint do go here, another good tip that I have, you can come right here and camp it out right here as well. You camp right here. Usually they're gonna spawn. Usually they'll spawn right here, or they'll usually come from the flank here, or they'll come from this side. So when they do come from this side, and they do spawn on hostile side, I usually come here. I usually pick them off from the trench, pick them off here. Usually you'll see them at the bottom. So I'll come here, pick them off there. And then if they do come in from the flank, I'll usually lean, pick them off here. They come from the bottom, hit them there. I'll usually put my bouncing Betty right there, and then let them come there and get them from that way. And then if they do, like I said, and then when it rotates to the next hardpoint here, I'll usually come through this way. Usually pick them off on this side, and then you'll knock them down here. You'll usually pick them off here because they're going to be spawning on this side, and they might come from the bar area, or they might come from this way, but usually it's going to be all in this way. So you can have map control, you can pick them off here, get a couple kills there, to be on the hard point, get them there, and then you can wrap your way around, you know, so you won't be too high. You'll come around right here, and then you'll at least get about 2 or 3 kills here. Bam, bam, be up them there, and then get them there, and then get them there, and then just run away as possible. Usually you can make your way up top, put your bouncing Betty right here by the steps, run up more, and then they'll usually come up from this way. You can hit them there. So that's a really good spawn point that you can do. So when they come from the cemetery, if they're gonna spawn on hostile, they'll come from there. So you can just usually pick them up here. This is a good spot. You can knock them down that. You can check them. And then when the hard point go and they spawn on hostile side, like I said, you can come right here. You can pick them off all right here. They're gonna spawn all right here and there. You just pick them off all right here. Pick them off there. Come right here. Run right this way, and let's get them there. But yeah, that's how you have good map control on this map. That's usually the big spawns. As you can see on the map I have here, if you spawning in from hostile side, they're always going to spawn from that head glitch in there. They're going to come from that middle, or they're going to come from that door, so they're going to always come from that way. But if you want to go from the trench area, you can always pick them from that trench area if possible. It's always easy to pick them from that trench area, and you can wrap your way around. And if you want to, when it goes to the second hard point, which is in the back, and if they spawn there, you'll usually go in that one head glitch spot that they usually go, and you can pick them off there, head glitch, put your bouncing Betty down, knock them down from that way, and then you'll have easy gain over the map, and you'll easily slay them, no problem. And then when it moves over to cemetery, if they spawn in from the other side, they're not spawning from hostile side, they're spawning from the other side, you can still stay in that building and then pick them off from that top and have map control there. Usually you're going to be a target, so you know, get a couple of kills. You can at least get about an average of 5 to 6, 7 kills if they don't rush their way around you. And after you get those quick kills like that, you'll easily pick them off easily, and it won't be hard like that. But there you guys have it. That's how you can have map. That's all the spawn points on Arklov Peak. Follow these instructions, and I guarantee you're gonna be knocking them down with no problem. It just all comes with just not even just luck. You just gotta be smart. Pick your gunfights wisely. Don't just run in and just gun them out like it's a thing to do. Just take your time always and just get those picks. Use bouncing Betties. Try to wrap around, try to flank as possible, and just try to do a lot of head glitching spots. Usually that'll be an easy way to get the nuke on this map, and that's what you have. When you have map control, you're literally a god, and it's very easily to just knock everybody down and get that nuke with no problem. But as you guys can see, I do have gameplay footage on Arklov Peak on how I got the nuke, so you guys can check that out and just follow how I do things. You can follow where I go. Usually spawn points are always going to go, but hardpoint is such a great balanced game mode because they always going to stay in that one area. You know what I mean? Sometimes, only time that the spawn is going to flip if people rush the spawns. But 9 times out of 10, if you don't rush it, they're going to always spawn in that exact spot, because hardpoint is just based on spawn control and map control. You have map control, I'm telling you, you'll be unstoppable and you'll get the nuke with no problem and no issue at all. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope this video was very informational. Any other map that you guys want, just comment below and let me know, and I'll definitely try to get to those maps as possible. But the maps that I know well known of on spawn points, I know Crash, I know Arklov Peak, I know Grosvenor Raid, I know Piccadilly, and I also know Backlot and some other maps. But if you any other map that you guys want any tips on how to get better map control, just let me know, and I'll definitely get right to it and make a video on it. But I hope this video helped you guys out. I hope you guys enjoy it. Hit the like button if you want. Also subscribe if you have not already. More great videos coming soon, and I'll see you guys in the next one.